It's now time for the discussants to raise issues contained in these lectures and, of course, issues outside it. When a senior advocate speaks, perhaps another senior advocate would open the discussions. F.R.A. or Onoja, you have 5 minutes to discuss the keynote address.
I think I would prefer to use the podium. I find it easier to talk when I'm standing. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on existing protocol as I discuss one or two issues arising from the keynote address. Let me thank my elder brother, my boss, and respected chief, Okutapa, for this inspiring and thought-provoking speech he has given us. I'm very sure many of us are quite uncomfortable because, like he said, he was going to speak bluntly and he was going to speak truth to power. I'm particularly proud of him because he also attended the only university in Nigeria. I must weigh in on that controversy, which is the University of Jos. And I'm sure the greatness of that institution is underscored by the fact that 3 eminent persons speaking today to you are from that institution. Of course, I'm referring to Madam Ene Obi, who is sitting here as well. Now, we all agree that the judiciary is central to this, to sustaining democracy. It is an institution that we cannot do without. And we've all gone through so much agony waiting for decisions in election matters, pre-election matters, and everything. And this brings us to the one fact we cannot all escape. The judiciary is under pressure because of the over-reliance on it. And when they're under pressure, at some point, we'll come to a breaking point. And the phenomena we are looking at now, including the powerful statements made by my learned older brother Silk, is authority for the fact that we have a problem with the judiciary as well, because they are stretched to breaking point. And because we are, we have a collection of politicians here, political parties and their leaders. Permit me to point out what can we do to ease the pressure on the courts. So long as every dispute concerning pre-election matters, election matters end up in court, so long will we have conflicting decisions, so long will we have over-reliance on technicalities, so much will we have a system where the very institution put up to create justice will be unable to meet that role. They will be unable to perform optimally. And so, one of the problems we have identified is that the Nigerian, there is an over-judicialization of Nigeria's politics. Everything political ends in court. Political parties cannot pick their own leaders, their own, those who will contest for them, their own candidates. Everything goes to court. And so at some point, at some time during the course of, during the political cycle, you find that the court system is practically shut down because of too many political cases. And of course, if there is an over-judicialization of politics, we also have an over-politicization of the judiciary. The judiciary have now become the institution that determines who holds power. That is wrong. People who contest for offices should be appointed or selected by their political parties. And people who must contest elections and who win should be voted in by the people, not by the judges. So these are difficult problems. I wish I have enough time to provide, recommendations for how we can make it better, but it comes down to us. Chief Okutepa has told us that it's down to us to make the change we want, if we want the system to survive, if we don't want it to fail. I will recommend something though, because it still remains my primary constituency. And that recommendation is addressed to political parties. I thank God that Dr. Ganduje is here, is the leader of the ruling party, and I'm sure he can help push through perhaps legislations or policy changes that can make a change in the system. And let me address the point about internal democracy in political parties. Yes, thank you, Anita. We must enthrone a system of internal democracy that will not rely on the courts. Political parties should be able to pick their leaders. And we must go back to that age where courts were reluctant to dabble into the internal affairs of political parties. But we know that that will not work. We can't go back there because it's a big challenge, and that is why the National Assembly intervened. So instead, I will propose that it should be legislated that political parties should have fixed arbitration panels to deal with all of their disputes and save the courts, from being inundated with so many cases. And it's these many cases that are creating so many problems of conflicting judgments. We could have, for instance, arbitration panels made up of senior lawyers. It can be set up in a way that all disputes concerning, selection of parties, candidates and the like, or who are the officers of a political party and everything, can be taken to these panels, and their decisions should be largely final. I'm sure we can solve that problem if we put our mind to it. But so long as we continue to believe that the judges can solve all of our political problems, so long will we continue to miss it. Thank you so much.